Hello, I'm Dr. Ruth Roberts, your pet's ally. I hope you all are very well and really enjoyed the pictures you all put up this week. Julie Gagnon, precisely, you know exactly what's in your pet's food. So rock and roll to you for getting that up there. And April had expressed some concern about let's see if I can find the comments one, about giving permission to Ecamm Live and with her name. And what that's about is if you've already given Facebook to put your name up on their software, but Ecamm Live is a different company, and so as I'm recording this video on Ecamm Live, they have to ask you permission again to put your name up there. So that's what that's about, April. Sorry if that's confusing, but it's now that they've decided that they really ought to ask us our permission about things. They sort of ask us about everything, which is kind of crazy. So a couple of really excellent questions this week. We've, kind of gone over some of this before as far as, do you use peas, do you not use peas, and things of that nature. So, Vicki, what you put up, the pigeon peas are really closer to beans or black-eyed peas than anything else. So they're commonly used in the Caribbean and things of that nature. So, but I think your picture kind of tells it all. On the photograph on the can, it says that there are, they're nice and green, and then you showed a picture of them in your strainer, and they're sort of yellow. And so this is the thing about canned food, is that it tends to be a lot more processed. And so it's always best, and with peas and beans, it's actually very difficult to get anything fresh, right? So with peas and beans, sometimes canned is the best way to go. Again, we have to kind of decide, all right, what are we going to be worried about? So technically, we can worry about the BPA in the can liner. That's a big issue, and many companies are thankfully starting to go to BPA-free liners, which has been awesome. The other thing you do need to think about with peas and beans are, can your pet actually tolerate them? And so sometimes you don't know that until you feed them, and sometimes you do, you know already. So try it. If it's okay, great. But think of peas as a starch, and in this case, the pigeon peas would be a replacement for the kidney beans in the diet. Now, in general, the other thing you were asking about, Vicki, is what do you do? How about what you're feeding? And frankly, that is very carb heavy. And so I would suggest choose one. So sweet potatoes or a grain or a pea, for instance. April chimed in and said she felt like peas were very inflammatory. Frankly, I don't find that. I find that they can be extremely easy to digest for many pets. And again, you have to know what your dog or your cat can handle. Obviously, we're not going to feed carbohydrates to cats because they just aren't built to handle that. So just kind of take it all with a grain of salt. We kind of get into this thing of, grain-free food was the only way to go, and now it's evil incarnate after that last recall. So what I'd suggest to you is, do the ratios make sense? So does feeding 70% beans in the diet make sense to you as a healthy type of food? It didn't to me, and I think, frankly, that's why we ended up with the dilative cardiomyopathy issue, because there were so many anti-nutrients. Even though there was sufficient protein for taurine to be produced, the dogs weren't getting it because they weren't able to get to the good stuff, so to speak. So, but Vicki, you definitely do want to broaden up your recipes. So the Dr. Harvey stuff, He's well thought of, but every premix is the same blend of veggies. So I found that it's created food sensitivities for many of my patients. It's expensive and it's all freeze dried, so you're losing some of the goodness of the veggies in that. So, go with real food. Try to go with fresh if possible, frozen if that's not an option. So, for instance, we stopped in the middle of somewhere extremely rural in Oregon and had to get food for the next batch, get some veggies and stuff for the next batch of food. And they really didn't have any fresh produce, so we got frozen stuff because that's what was available. If you live in a fairly urban area, it's really, we get accustomed to what we have available to us and we think everybody has it. But that's one of the more astonishing things we found in driving across the country is that there are places where they are food deserts and they simply don't have access to real, fresh veggies, things of that nature. So count your blessings wherever you are if you've got access to fresh, locally farmed veggies. So it's really turned our eyes around. So I think that's got Vicky's question squared away pretty well. And Bettina, I love the picture of Murphy doing the pre-clean for you. And I am so sorry to hear Mary had surgery. And I'm not sure what the surgery was for, but would love to know what the biopsy results are, as I'm sure everyone else is kind of waiting with bated breath, and see if I can be of some help with you there. So prayers for Mary. She's had a rough road to hoe, sadly. And then lastly, Karen's asking why Dino, who's incredibly handsome, such a good-looking guy, has really stinky urine. And so Karen said that there was a small amount of bacteria from a voided urine sample, and this is indeed normal, especially for male dogs. So no evidence of infection. If the urine is super, super concentrated in the morning, it can be very stinky as well. So I'm not sure if it's every time he's urinating or just recently. If the urine was really concentrated on the urinalysis, and that's going to be a urine-specific gravity of, say, greater than 1045, that can also create some issues as far as that'll increase the pungency of the odor. And if there's any kind of, pH changes, that may, too high or too low. Again, our goal or target pH is 7 to 7.5. And so if it's too alkaline, that can create some stinkies. Generally with the acidity, not so much of an issue. And lastly, yes, it could be from food and supplements, as Erin suggested. And then parsley can be a good natural diuretic. And then yucca shikarato has been used to help reduce urine odor. And also for some dogs, they pee on the grass and they actually, I don't know what's in the urine, but it kills the grass. So that's a supplement you can find relatively easily. So let me know if that is helpful or not. If you've got other kind of comments or answering back, I'll circle back around tomorrow and check the comments as well. Last thing is, I'm not sure if any of the rest of you are from LA, but Erin Jester has kindly agreed to host me I think it's the 28th, this Saturday of June, to do a talk to, get some other folks in her dog club kind of on the ball, so to speak, with nutrition and help them get some answers to questions. So if you're in that area, message me and let me know. And if we've still got some spots left, I think there are 2 or 3 left, happy to get you in. So that's what I've got for you this week. Do you all have any questions in particular that I have not gotten to? I'll kind of pop back onto the Crockpet page and see if there's anything that's popped up. I think this thing is actually working well. And we do still have our belated Father's Day sale is going on till midnight tonight, so there's some good stuff going on there as far as the new holistic pet health protocols, so check that out. And then last week I started talking a little bit about the holistic pet health protocols that I've got available for you. This Wednesday I'll be talking about my cancer support protocol. And what these are pages where these are routine questions we get all the time. And so what it's going to do is be in our free members area, because many of the suggestions I have are considered to be healthcare professional products, and so the manufacturers of those products don't like them out on the open internet, so to speak. But it's a way for you, let's say your pet just got diagnosed with kidney disease or cancer or what have you. It's a way for you to go to our free members area, log in. You're already signed up if you've got the Crockpet diet or the kidney health program, gut health program, or if you're a coaching client, if you've logged in to get access to the Crockpet recipe. And what you'll be able to do is at the bottom of the page, you'll see all these free things like videos and PDF downloads, but on that bottom left-hand corner, you'll see holistic pet health protocols. And so far there are 6 up. There's a little bit more work I've got to do on them over the next little bit of time. But I hope that will be an awesome resource for you and for your friends. So if you've got a friend that has had a big health issue come up, you want to get them some help, you can send them to the website, drruthroberts.com, ask them to go to the member login, sign up for the free members area, and then they'll be able to get access to those protocols. So that's what I have for you this week. I hope the rest of your week goes well, and we will see you on Wednesday on the main page. Until next week, remember, your pet's best health starts in the bowl. Thank you.